The agenda is adopted.
I just returned from the G20 leaders, which was held in Antalya in Turkey, and I was encouraged by the shared resolve to combine security-based counterterrorism measures with preventive steps that address governance failures, injustice, exclusion, and other drivers of extremist violence. There was also consensus on the need for our response to uphold the rule of law and to avoid being ruled by fear and inflaming tensions further still.
I wish to warmly welcome the distinguished Secretary General.
I'm especially concerned about reprisals or further discrimination against Muslims, in particular Muslim refugees and migrants. This would just exacerbate the alienation on which terrorists feed.
Importance of the subject matter under discussion.
We also need to be bold when necessary. For example, in rebuilding Syria and supporting the countries generously hosting large numbers of refugees, including Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey. There is a growing global call for a recovery plan for the region, perhaps akin to the Marshall Plan in scale. I urge you to give this idea due consideration when the day arrives, and I know we hope it will soon.
Council Chamber. Your presence today underscores.
In the immediate term, we need to provide support for people who are affected by things like the crisis in Syria. I just talked about the need for support for refugees. We need to tackle ISIS head on. It's clear from the terrible attacks we've seen around the world, not just in Paris in recent days and weeks, that ISIL will not go away. It needs to be dealt with, it needs to be tackled head on. But we also need to find a political solution to the crisis in Syria that is giving ISIL the space to be able to grow and develop as an organisation and be a threat not only to ordinary Syrians who are caught up in this crisis and indeed in Iraq, but much more broadly around the world.